Good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you're watching this transmission. Tis I, Mike Martins, bringing you tax hiking news. And this is coming to a city near you. I think they're going to find ways to implement taxes, and they're just going to overburden us with. There's no question. There's no debate about it, and that's just how it is. So we are being taxed on a myth, which is global warming or climate change, or whatever it's called this week. And unfortunately, people in Ontario, federal carbon tax kicks in for Ontario, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and New Brunswick, so pretty much Eastern Canada. I played this earlier today, and it just plays the Russian Soviet Union national anthem here. So I'm not going to play that so it doesn't flag my video. Anyways, do you remember on trends in the housing market for the longest time now, through other housing discussion, I've been talking about how a lot of people are mass exodusing the major cities. And I keep talking about who is going to flip the bill or the city subsidies for these big cities. Who's going to pay the bus, the transit. Bus is transit, but you know what I mean. Who's going to pay for this stuff? Who's going to pay for the doctors, police officers, garbage men? Someone's got to pay this. This has got to get paid somehow, right? And I'm thinking what they're going to start doing is they're going to do more of a global tax so they could separate the money and put it into better divisions. I don't think this will go towards hospital. I don't know what it's going to go towards, but we're being taxed on a myth. And that's what's concerning me. How much myth can they tax us on before it gets to a point where it's like, whoa, really? So people in Manitoba, Ontario, Saskatchewan, New Brunswick will be paying more for gasoline and heating fuel come Monday, when the federal government's carbon tax begins in provinces that refuse to impose their own emissions pricing. So BC was the first one in line to say, sign me up, we're good to go. So I've read my gas bill for you guys. You could find it in my channel. Go in my channel, type in gas bill or gas, natural gas. You'll see my gas bill. I read it. It's like $500 a month. And I'm paying like 100 and something. I pay like $1,000 a year in carbon tax. So my bills go up, and everyone's like, you got to get your thing. No, but still, you got the carbon tax too. You got the transportation tax. You got all those weird taxes in there that I had, levy tax, clean fuel tax. So watch that video. You'll be interested in seeing all the different transportation tax and all this stuff. Anyways, the federal tax is $20 a ton for this year and is set to increase by $10 annually until it reaches $50 a ton by April 2022. So I'm doing my best here at my house. I got some work getting done on the house now. So I'm going to replace all my windows, and I'm going to put a new vapor barrier outside the house, put new siding on. So I got a bit of work ahead of me in this next couple of months. So I'm going to keep you guys posted on that too with my Living the Dream series. But anyways, I'm going to try my best to be as efficient as possible, too. Back in the days, like, cold air drafting. Now it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. And it's not because they're trying to fix climate change. I don't think you could throw money at climate change. It's Mother Nature. Anyways, the federal tax is $20 a ton for this year, and it's going to be increased by April 2022. The starting rate adds 4.4 cents to the price of a liter of gas, about 4 cents to cubic meter for natural gas, and also drives up the cost of propane, butane, and aviation fuel. Ooh, more money! As midnight April 1st, which is right now, it is officially April 1st in Ontario, but it's freezing there. Here it's like 17, 18 Celsius. I've been wearing shorts. There, it's like cold. Anyways, there's going to be a jump in price at the pump, about 5 cents, thanks to the federal government's carbon tax. There is uncertainty about how widespread the impact will be, how businesses will receive rebates, and whether the tax will survive courts challenges underway in two of the rebel provinces. It says rebel for real. Todd Lewis, president of the Agriculture Producers Association of Saskatchewan, said while farm fuel is exempt from carbon tax and levy, the levy does not apply to that used in commercial trucks and trains and moving grain off farms and bringing in seed and equipment. Oh, that's nice. That's sweet. You know, as we move our commodities, we're going to have to increase costs. Simple as that, Lewis said in an interview. Fill up your tanks in Manitoba. Carbon tax effective April 1st. Oh, man. There's no way for us to pass these costs along. If you're a grocery store or a dry cleaner, if your costs go up, you pass them along to consumers. But we participate in a world market. So here's the deal. We're participating on a hunch. We're taxing you on a hunch. And not only that, we're participating in the world market. And Donald Trump said thumbs down to everything and said, we're not joining any of this crap. So, yeah. So what's going on, people? What's really going on, right? The business community also has unanswered questions. The federal government has yet to reveal details about the program to rebate some of the increased cost faced by small and medium-sized businesses. So now, with the increase in minimum wage going up and the increase in fuel and subsidy and all this extra costs, we're just going to pay more for I've been fighting for years about why is the price of food skyrocketing. This is going to help it big time. Big time. Because transport, like, okay, you're not paying to move the grain around. That's great. Or get it off the farm. Hey, that's even better. But what about the transport trucks and all those private trucking companies? That's a big no-no. Everything's going to become part of the public sector. Food transportation will be public sector. Everything will be public sector. No more private. No more private business. How does that sound to you guys? Residents of the 4 provinces will be getting rebates as well as their income tax returns. The rebates start at $128 annually. So what? Vary between provinces and increases of people and spouses' dependents at home. The federal government says the carbon tax is a sensible way to protect the environment. Okay, sure. Put a price on activities that pollute to discourage emissions and give back most or all the money through income taxes. So here's the deal with this. The countries that are going greener and shutting down industry and all that crap, they're falling GDP-wise. These countries, the English-speaking countries, are all going green and going nice. Then all the industry goes somewhere else. We lose our jobs. But our economies are built off credit cards, lines of credit, student loans, mortgages. And that's what's driving our economy. And the poor private sector jobs that could barely afford to pay wages because they've increased minimum wage, they keep passing it on to the consumer. The consumer refuses to pay that much, and it's just a spiral of death. The holdout premiers have been vocal in their criticism. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has described the carbon levy as a job-killing tax that will increase prices on everything. He has warned that it could cause a recession and claim economists dispute. Well, everyone's going to go anyone that goes in against anything that's world support, right? Ford has tweeted nearly daily about the tax over the last 2 weeks. His caucus members have contributed dozens more and has held news conferences to rail about it. An Ontario court is set to hear the government's constitutional challenge of a carbon tax in April. A Saskatchewan court has already heard similar arguments and is expecting to deliver its verdict shortly. New Brunswick Premier Blaine Higgs' government argues that the tax will punish the province's large rural population because there's no option to ditch vehicles for public transit. Yeah, what about those people? People that have no choice but have to own a vehicle. In Manitoba, Progressive Premier Brian Pallister initially intended to implement a lower carbon tax and demand the province be recognized for spending billions to build clean hydroelectric infrastructure. He dropped the idea and joined the protesting provinces when Ottawa refused to accept the lower rate. What a bunch of losers. Pallister said that the tax comes at a time of economic uncertainty for Manitobans. Uncertainty for the people are concerned about trade. That's true. And people who are concerned about higher interest rates for mortgages when they come up for renewal. That's true. So I see Canada, honestly, going to start dividing its provinces and become independent. You're better off. Some provinces send all their money, all their profits, or anything they make to Quebec. Quebec leeches off all the other provinces. A lot of people don't know that. Pallister suggests the federal rebates may not be enough to offset increased costs businesses will face, which could be passed to consumers. That's what happens. The proposed plan does not consider the multiplier effects of these taxes on the people we buy things from. So here's the deal. Shipping went up in price. The price of shipping went up, right? So I had to raise the price on some of my products on eBay. I mean, people have to buy. They have no choice. I'm not making more money. I'm just paying more shipping. Beverly Gilbert, Calgary tax advisor, says the carbon tax will affect Canada's competitiveness. The U.S. does not have any kind of carbon levy or carbon charge, so it makes it more difficult to compete internationally, she said. That's so true. So here it is, guys. I wanted to throw this out. What are the people... who believes in Canada, the idea of Canada? It was good in this, up until the early 90s, until everything just completely fell apart. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Why is this happening? How can we... I don't know. I'm just disappointed, you know. They're very disappointed. And so basically, they could create a hunch and taxes on any hunch they feel like. Ooh, there's a meteor coming towards the Earth. We need to pay taxes. We need to throw more money at something. And then we'll just use that money, you know, for other things. But there's a meteor coming towards Earth, so we're going to have to start throwing money around. Your money, by the way. Man, this is getting out of control. Let me know what you guys think. How is this affecting you guys? I'd like to know. Thanks for watching, guys.